All right, man. We back with another episode of the group message. All right, we here. We here. Everybody's all here and accounted for. Ready to get this thing cracking. All right, you know how we kick it off. 1, 2, 3,
4, 5, 6,
7, 8, 9.
10.
The rest.
You wish you knew the rest.
Everybody know the rest. All right, fellas. Where we starting today, man? We got a lot. We got a lot of ground
I think
to
you
cover.
know where we started today. I think
got a lot of ground to
knows.
cover even there, though. We got a lot of ground to cover. Josue, I think you should throw out the first pitch.
All right.
Come on, Satchel.
All right. So I sent a couple videos, right? So the one video that I want to talk about is the video that I sent y'all when like everybody is basically looting in their community. And so a lot of people's like, hey, that's what they want us to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't going anywhere else and doing it. So, like, why are we taking from ourselves? You know what I'm saying? Because, like, if you saw the next video I sent you was basically a guy that spent his whole life savings in his bar, his sports bar, and people then messed that over. And I'm like, bro, y'all going backwards. Y'all going to be looting in your own community. Like, that's not getting anybody. I mean, it's getting attention because it's entertainment, but ain't nobody getting nobody's attention other than that. So we got to do better where that's concerned.
I think we need to set the table because this video may be released couple days after the episode is shot. Set the table on what we're referring to. Obviously, the breaking news that is disheartening to us as Black Kings on this show. Another one of our fellow brethren have died to excessive force by our police officers here in America. The gentleman's name is George Floyd. We know what happened on video where the officer sat on his neck with his knee implanted into his neck while George Floyd was in positional asphyxiation for over 8 minutes. And so this led to an onslaught of protests, civil unrest, and some looting. Now, I want to respond to what Brother Josue brought up because one of my coworkers and I, we talked, and he's very big in activism, and you know, he's big in the community here in Baltimore. So he made a post about how we should go about things, and I sent him a DM, and I was like, most importantly, we cannot terrorize our community. We cannot negatively affect our things we own. And he responded to me with, for the most part, in recent memory, in instances like Freddie Gray when they protested and looted, most of the Black-owned businesses that meant something to the Black community went unscathed. And so I took that with a grain of salt, and I did some research, and I couldn't really come to a concrete conclusion historically whether we tend to hit our own people in the midst of trying to, you know, send a statement. And I just want to say that I'm totally with you, Josh, on that. Like, if we're gonna be mad and upset, if we're gonna shake the table, I'm down for it. But we can't set ourselves back. We still have to have that commonality. That's just my take. No matter what, we got to say, okay, our community is going to be protected. It's going to be left unscathed. But other than that, I haven't found anything historically. I researched the Watts riot. I researched the riots of '92. Some of the recent riots, and I don't know particularly if our communities, businesses are really historically impacted negatively. So,
Well,
but today we see it different. Go ahead, Will.
In Baltimore, in our time in Baltimore, while we were in college, when the young man was killed in the back of the police truck, van, whatever you might want to call it. I think Banks might know the street names or whatnot. I can't remember the exact street names where they were looting and rioting at. But they were
Liberty
downtown.
Road.
Yeah, not far from the university. So it just so happened that was one of the nights that one of our fellow teammates had got into some issues with the law, and he asked me to come pick him up. So I go driving down what we know as near the Hip Hop Chicken that we used to always go to.
Sorry, that wasn't Liberty Road. That was Liberty Road was where the kids first started riding.
Yeah,
back.
but they were working their way towards.
But, yeah, where we were at was Hartford Road. So sorry.
Yeah, so they working their way up to Hartford Road, which is where in Baltimore they call it down the hill, all black community. You know what I'm saying? It's not, once you get to the top end of it, it transitions a little bit to a mixed community. But I felt like for me, even when you drive down there in the most recent years, like that Walgreens that they go to, and I'm pretty sure people employed at that Walgreens, those stores are still boarded up. And it's because of when the rioting and stuff was going on, those stores were torn apart and tarnished and burned. And for me, I'm not even from Baltimore, and I felt like they did it wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that there was no right or wrong. I mean, well, I kind of am saying there's a right or wrong way of doing it, but in the same sense, like, we did that one wrong.
So,
I feel like,
as a black man, I want to get all y'all opinion on this. When we say loot their community, does that not include the establishments that have infiltrated our community, i.e., the Walgreens or the CVS, or not even those, the Targets that come into our communities just to really kind of gentrify and push us out, make things tougher for us to pay taxes and things like that, because of now they have establishments as such. Or if you see a Starbucks now coming into your community, would it be off limits for that Starbucks to be victimized and vandalized and affected? Well, we know those aren't our establishments, although they employ us.
Yeah. So, like, the thing is, like, whatever in the situation helps you get money, like, okay, so let's say you're working at a Starbucks and y'all mess it up. Then you ain't getting paid. Like you taking money out your pocket. So when it comes,
so this is my response to it in the grand scheme of things, and I guess we'll get to this further along in the conversation, is us becoming self-sufficient anyhow, to where we are working within our own community and working for ourselves, in a sense, to where you're not being employed by this institution of people who don't represent you, who don't really look like you, who don't believe in you. They just have you as an employee, almost as if you were just a indentured servant. You see what I'm saying? So whereas instead of you being from this neighborhood working for Starbucks, you being from this neighborhood working for an establishment that's owned by people in that neighborhood. If that makes sense.
And I understand that, but unless that is there already, then you got to go with the progress. Like, you can't say, unless you're going to start it and do it yourself, I mean, you got to get paid to start doing something else. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, let's say that you're working at Starbucks or whatever, and let's say
that's
like
what you need to eat right now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And you, William Banks, you know what I'm saying? It was like, hey, man, we're going to start this grocery store, whatever. I mean, the community. Y'all got to get paid, and y'all got to be able to invest in that until it gets up and running. So as of right now, the means that you have is a Target or a Starbucks or whatever. So you got to be able to continue to get right until it's time to go and do your thing.
I feel you. I just feel like us having that workers' mentality is almost like a safety net, right? Because we don't want to take that risk and say, me, Willie, and Banks gonna start our grocery store right now. You see what I'm saying? And I know you, given what you explained to us a couple of weeks ago about being independent, starting businesses and doing things with others, you kind of have that experience on how people will be afraid to take that leap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's been like, for our community, working for the man has been one of the safety nets for us. But it's also been a hindrance because we've never had the guts to move from servant to master to
And I think
owner.
And I think that also ties into, it's got to be a generation thing, because everybody has started in their family. Somebody's worked for somebody because of where we come from or something like that. So with that being said, if I didn't want to work in a Target or a Starbucks or something like that, like my father would have had to do something or help me to get ahead of the curve.
Yep.
So I think that for us being where we are, we see the world as what we do today. That's why I pride ourselves, and I want us to start something, even if it ain't nothing but the smallest thing, so we can give our children something to pass on. Because if we demand our kids to always start their own businesses, do what you want to do in life, this, that, and third, but we haven't lived up to that standard, how can we ask them to do
it's going to be hard. It's kind of hard for that next
Yeah,
generation.
because kids naturally do what they learn
what they
behaviors and and their experiences. So if my dad worked for a company and he's a multimillionaire, why wouldn't I go work for a company and be a multimillionaire? You know?
Right.
But see, for me, I totally agree with you, Willie, because I feel like us as a community, we're still viewed as second-class citizens internationally because we aren't self-sufficient yet. We don't have our own farmlands. We don't have our own grocery stores. We don't have our own pharmacy companies. We're not producing enough doctors to see after us and be physicians. And we're just so focused on gaming and sport. If you make it to the league, you the one. But we're not putting enough emphasis on self-sufficiency, where we don't need WIC, where we don't need welfare, where we don't need government assistance, and so on and so forth. Just like, and I'm going to let you go, Josue, when the American forefathers came here, they wanted self-sufficiency from Great Britain. And they was willing to fight tooth and nail against their forefathers in Great Britain for their self-sufficiency. They didn't want you to tax their goods. They didn't want you to control which colonies they could consider a part of the United States. And so they went to war about this. I think we lack that desire because we get kind of complacent. And not only do we get complacent, the whole system is kind of fixed to say, well, you don't need to do so much work. Rely on this check I'm gonna give you every month. You see what I'm saying? And so that zaps the motivation to be self-sufficient.
That comfortable feeling.
Exactly.
A sense of comfort.
Exactly.
So look, all right, so let me tell you where I'm at. First of all, I'm about everybody working with everybody, but I'm also with everybody getting what is deserved to them. So like, for instance, when it comes down to other people that are up there, like let's say, like y'all would say the white people, right? Where they're at, right? They got to where they are by working with everybody. Whether you see it, working with everybody.
Hold on. Everybody in terms of whom?
I'm going to hear you out.
Listen. When I say working with everybody, please understand. What I'm saying is there were Black people involved. There were Hispanic people involved. There were people to help them get there where they were. Now, y'all would say that they used people, right? But in the end of it, they couldn't do it all by themselves. Do you understand what I'm saying?
You're saying they knew how to politic it.
Right.
But they were but they had the board and we were all the pieces. So at the end of the day, they were the foundation that was laid. Without the foundation, they hold on. They aren't the foundation. Let's get that straight.
Yeah.
They put it in place as if they are the foundation. And we are the pieces that put it all together. That's why they wanted to paint it to us.
Right. So what I'm saying is you could do the same thing. I'm saying that you could do the same thing. And that's why, Greg, what I'm saying is that I feel what you be saying, but I'm on the other side where, like, yeah, we could, like,
use these relationships to build you up.
Hey,
Yeah.
excuse the interruption, but it's starting to get active in Baltimore. Just saying.
I believe you. Hey,
Got
speaking
real
on that,
active.
I was just invited to a rally that was supposed to be from 3 to 5, but I told them I had some things to do, i.e. our episode. And I just know the spirit of Baltimore is begging for a reason.
Right.
That's
So
the type of city that's begging for a reason
I have a question about these riots and people
to
protesting.
be
Right?
angry.
Hold
So
on,
I asked the question.
hold on. Before we go all the way left, let's finish this right here. So, hey, sorry, Willie, but
Oh no,
hey,
you good. You good.
hey, just keep this out of your mind. I'm saying, so look, I'm about our people having businesses and doing this for themselves, because I would like for us to have the same type of lifestyles that, I mean, our white brothers have. You know what I'm saying?
Don't say brighter. They whiter.
but what I'm trying to say is, we could do the same thing. Like, we could politic too. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like just think about it. Our influence, I mean, Black culture itself, like, but the thing is, it's gonna take everybody being on board. And I'm talking about the most influential people, because we can't be saying that we can't, like, it starts with the music industry, the entertainment industry. We can't be saying that man, we about this, but we being hypocritical.
Oh no.
You know what I'm saying?
No. That's what
like, you know what I'm saying?
And Willie and Banks can attest to this. Certain things I won't even allow myself to say anymore in reference to my brothers, because we're not that. I think, ultimately, Josue, where we differ on that, because I totally agree. Pooling our resources is what's going to set us apart. I don't feel that we need to pool resources with them, though. I feel that if we pooled our resources with everybody that is a part of our community, that we'll be 10 steps ahead of where we are right now.
And I understand that, and I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, I know my people.
Yeah, they showed their hand too many times.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, it might have to be that for a couple years to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the rappers that went into. It's just like the rappers that went independent, right? Everybody like, what in the world? Like, nah, I ain't doing that. And then you see a lot more rappers going independent. So now people say, I want to stay independent. It's kind of like that. Exactly. It's kind of like that.
I feel like this, man. Our people, in order to reverse that stigma that you know them for, is they have to have knowledge of self. And I've learned that knowledge of self produces love for self. Once we start to learn who we are and love who we are, man, we'll pull together like never before, and we'll be stronger than ever before. But it's too often that we see an influential brother or sister, whomever has the mouthpiece at the time, that really and truly, and at their essence, don't love who they are. And so they'll lead a bunch of us in a ways that's not in alignment to who we are as a people.
Right.
And that's the ones we call sellouts or bootlickers or whatever you want to call them, man. And it kind of derails the momentum.
Look, go ahead.
I.e. Brother West, huh?
Who, Brother West?
Hey, Brother West.
Hey, but look. That's why. But the first thing we got to do, Greg, and everybody else, is we got to break those generational curses. Because if you think about everything that was done to us, right? It's a generational curse. It's like grandma told, great-grandma told grandma that, grandma told mama that, mama told us that, and we still in that mindset, man.
But the one thing, Gillis want no slaves. So that's one thing you got to always remember. It ain't on our side of the family. It'd be a lot of other blacks, because one of Gillis is no slaves. I hope you know that.
So wait a minute.
I know you might have heard my pops say that a few times if you've been around.
How did y'all get y'all last name?
We wrote it on our papers.
I'm saying you ain't gonna find no Gillises in Africa.
Look.
Hey, hey, I love that you brought that up though, Josh, because how do you feel about disowning some of the things generationally we've inherited and inhabited? Because we came over here descendants of kings, of people who created the entire these pyramids that even scientists and mathematicians and engineers today can't tell you how to replicate. How did we go from that to where we are now? And are there more things than just getting off of welfare that we need to break as a generation?
Stripping generations of education and knowledge every time you give birth to somebody. So and pulling them away from their families and separating children at a young age. You know what I'm saying? Like when you separate a child from their peers and their families, you break them. It's like and you can teach them what you want them to learn.
Exactly. Exactly. I think it was in the book Up From Slavery that I read, where he talked about how not only in the Middle Passage, so in the Middle Passage, we know a lot of mothers were committing suicide, walking off into the water. People just didn't want to live as a slave. They'd rather die as a free man than live as a slave. So you eliminate millions of black people on those ships in the Middle Passage. Then when they get here, they killing off some of the elders of the community. I'm talking about the white people, killing off some of the elders in our community. So little by little, we're losing that hierarchy. We're losing that heritage. We're losing that
wisdom,
essence,
that knowledge.
Yeah, the essence of who we are.
I'll say like this. My bad. And I'm agreeing with you. I'm totally agreeing with you, Greg. There's almost 50 million of us. And the great vast majority don't even know what tribe we belong to, what native language.
But before, hold on. That, like you said, that's in the same vein. So what they were doing was, although they were killing our elders in the community, now let's say you're left with the teenagers, you're left with the babies to break and to make a slave. They've separated from the people who are going to teach them their language, who are going to teach them their true religion, who are going to teach them how to eat. And now it's easier to make you a slave. And like you said, Josue, we pass what we learned down as generational curses. So when they introduced what they called Christianity, or what they called the right way to eat, or what they called the right way to educate, that's what we replicate now, right? And we don't even realize it. We still think, oh, we're abundantly free. Some of us find that light, but man, we got so much work to do. That's a 300-year, 400-year jigsaw puzzle that we trying to master.
So, Ben, I asked the question to one of our fellow brothers last night in the group chat. What was said off the helicopter when he had sent the video that he was downtown protesting or whatnot, or rally. I don't know exactly what the event was. And the man over the loudspeaker on the helicopter said, "You all will be arrested." Can you be arrested for protesting? Like for lawfully protesting? Like what crime can you break by standing in the road?
So now
that, yeah, I was about to say, go ahead. Unless you would have to get special permits.
So in Maryland, I can give you the exact way they can arrest you in Maryland.
Right.
In Maryland, you have to have probable cause, just like in many other states, probable cause to arrest. That probable cause means you have a high likelihood that a crime is being committed either right now in your presence or is about to be committed, based on your five senses, based on plain sight, plain hearing, plain smell, plain touch, yada, yada, yada. If they wanted to articulate, and this is what they would do if they cuffed you and said you're under arrest, they would articulate that you were either endangerment or endangerment to the public or exhibiting reckless behavior. Now, most people think being in cuffs means you're arrested. That does not mean you're arrested. In Maryland, and this is probably the case for many other states, in order for you to be arrested, the officer must apply force, then cuff you and say that you're under arrest. If he does not say that you're under arrest, that is not an arrest. And if he books you and says that you were arrested, that's an unlawful arrest. So with that being said, they could say that maybe you were enticing a riot, enticing unlawful or unsafe behavior. That's a lot of ways they could write it up in their reports.
So I asked that because I see all these people rioting and protesting. And I mean, let's just speak about Maryland because, I mean, most of us have been there. I would have to go through a process, Banks, you said, to protest?
You have the right to protest via the Constitution.
I was about to say, don't you have the freedom of
that's your
speech and
constitutional right
to gather? Like you can gather at any public place, though, correct?
Right, but the question becomes, though, like, if you gather in a street. Well, no, not even your intentions, but if you gather
the action, it's all about the actions.
Oh man, look at that!
That's Baltimore.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Baltimore ain't gonna. They're not gonna be the ones that didn't do something.
Man, talk, man. We on here, man. Talk right quick. There's nobody outside your house.
Flipping.
Oh my
I'm
God.
not in Baltimore, but they're near City Hall. They're near City Hall, and they're flipping over police cars. And I mean, we twisted cars in the wood one summer, so we all right. They ain't doing that.
Now that needs to be said on here on this episode because that's breaking news.
Well, now they torch. They completely torched one cop car. And,
so this is my question, because are they just doing this just because they tired of everything? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think
it's tired of it, right?
You know you're gonna get the good lump with the opportunists.
Yeah,
you're gonna get that.
Like, it's some opportunities. It's some people that's doing this that just are like, oh yeah, I'm in.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be some of those. Like I saw a guy last night in Atlanta. He threw a rock in the T&M building. That boy had a wind up like Dontrell Willis. Like, it looked like in his eyes, it wasn't much care for the cause of George Floyd, other than I'm about to show the MLB what I got. Okay.
Hey, so look. I'm glad you said this, because I would have to say a lot of what my LB said, which is a cop in Houston. He was like, the majority of people hearing them or whatever is just going out there, just doing whatever, just want to be reckless. You know what I'm saying? Just want to do crazy stuff, like just cause.
And people,
like,
and we still living in COVID right now. So this is like,
are we? That's later down. That's later on.
I'll say the people who are doing reckless stuff, like, that's going to be 100%, right? Like, those people have made it in their minds that they're going to loot. I'm not going to say even loot a bill, because that could be responsible.
Deface.
But I would say like arson, right? Set something on fire. Like, that was been premeditated that they was going to do that tonight.
They needed something.
Pause. But this is what the question I would invoke to you is that as a black man in America, and you see another, like for me, for instance, I grew up in Houston, so a part of me has some sort of sentiment toward this in greater heights than it would had he not been from Houston. Regardless of the fact, if you are a black man in America, a person in America, and you are just genuinely fed up with the rhetoric and with the continual perpetuation of this onslaught, are you not within your moral rights to act as a human being?
Tired of being sick and tired.
That's it.
Yeah,
I mean,
like, that could be somebody's natural reaction.
Did you see that message?
Which one?
About Fannie Lou Hamer?
Mm-hmm.
And what she said?
Yes, we watched
that was 50 years
That's
ago.
The third. Hold on.
We talked about that earlier.
No,
we talked about that pre-show.
I'm putting that.
That's the third time you've asked.
Okay,
that.
So now we're breaking the fourth wall, right? Like, now we have to explain to the audience of the context. Like, Willie, thank doing
you tried to slide that though. You tried to
no.
You definitely could have said. You definitely could have said in light of what I said earlier about Fannie Lou, because we already have knowledge of it.
Yes, Willie. In light of what I said about Fannie Lou. Okay.
Bro,
so with that being said, she said about the young people who were riding in the streets, about the anger, frustration 50 plus years ago. And that's like, well, we're talking about 1967, 1968, so 52, 53 years ago. And we're still having the same problems, the same pent-up frustration.
So to you,
anger that our parents.
That's why I said this may not just be premeditated. It could be a crime of passion. It could be.
But also, too, I will say this, and this is what I told Willie. Like, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, right? Let's say until there's any, like, let's say that this is going to blow over, because it's going to blow over, right?
Will it?
No, yeah, it is. It is.
We have ample amounts of time because
we're in a pandemic.
We do have stay-at-home orders. So
the stars are finally aligning.
There's no school. Nobody got to go to work. There's no institutions of keeping people occupied.
Now is the time. Now, this has to happen. It has to happen.
Okay, all right. So, look, what I'm saying is that the reason why I feel like we're dealing with the same stuff, right, is because I have not seen, I'm not saying that there's nothing out there, but I've not seen a constant push when stuff is not going on, when stuff is not happening. You know what I'm saying? So like this Floyd situation got everybody doing this, right? But what was the last person up before him?
Ahmaud Arbery. We just had that 2 weeks ago.
Right before that.
Okay. I mean, Arbery, but before Arbery.
Breonna, what was her last name? Breonna,
the girl in Houston? The girl in Houston?
It wasn't Taylor.
No.
Breonna,
Louisville.
I forget her last name.
Breonna Taylor.
But then this summer, we had an instance where the neighbor called because the door was open to a home in Georgia, a light was on, and the police officers crept around the back side of the home, shot and killed the mother inside of her home. That was this summer.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Okay, all right. No, what I'm saying is this, man. What I'm saying is this. There should be ongoing protest. If we would have ongoing protests, then I don't think from back then, what I'm saying is, Banks, because you said it was like 50 years ago. If this has been going on, right, which it has been, it just seems like when something happens, then we come out in the streets. Now, there are some people that are doing stuff daily and stuff like that. I will say that, right? Because I'm not going to disrespect their causes, whatever. But what I'm saying is, this has been going on, and we all have said, now we just have cell phones to prove it. What I'm saying is, why haven't we been protesting the whole time?
Because it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop at protest. Hold on, babe. I'm gonna go, and then I'll let you go. Excuse me. It doesn't stop at protesting, right? I don't know who says it, but it was like protesting without demonstration is pretty much worthless. And after you protest, there has to be a change in mindset and culture. So for us, if we're vandalizing, looting, and destroying and defacing Target, we need to change in culture post the protest, post the looting, to say we're not even going to support you. Because like I say oftentimes, the white man and white supremacy.
No.
Go ahead, Josh.
So first of all, when I say protest, I'm not saying do all that. I'm just saying be out there in the streets.
Yeah.
Not only that, being like, for instance, like what you said, protest is like, hey, I'm not going to that gas station no more. I'm not going to Apple no more. I'm not going to so-and-so anymore. Dog, this is what people don't understand. It's in the most freaking...
Not me.
Approximately
$1.6
trillion a year.
No. I'm talking about our
culture definitely.
I just said $1.6
we
trillion.
spend the most money. So what I'm saying is,
and who you think that money going to?
I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, be in the streets, but put your money where your mouth is, man.
Yeah,
like,
I totally support that. It's all about the behavior. Post this, because even boycotting, that's not just enough. It's like, don't just boycott until you get your fix. Change your mindset. Okay, we don't just boycott the buses because we couldn't sit in the front. Go back and ride your own buses. And that's how you really fix them. You see what I'm saying? Like, support your own. That's what I believe we should revert to is after we say we're not dealing with y'all, we're defacing y'all, we're going to destroy y'all, we got to continue that, but on the up and up. Now we got to build with each other.
But also, when I said that we need to destroy those generational curses, what I'm talking about is this. Hitler said this. He said, whoever has the youth has the future. So what I'm trying to say is, if we break those generational curses with the youth, they could be brought up in that mindset, what you're talking about, Greg.
Absolutely.
Look,
I would never disagree with that.
Because look, everybody's not going to be like you and stop saying certain things because they ain't built that way. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is that we got to start now with the kids, with the youth.
Absolutely.
With the young people.
It starts with these parents. And this is where being an educator, it hurts my heart some days. I be at work and I see parents coming there and they're not setting the example that should be set for their children. And I'm pretty sure y'all have heard this being said, but children having children. And it's like it hurts me because I'm like, yo, like I'm trying to give these kids something that's tangible that they can utilize while they not in this school for the 8 hours, and then they get home and it's like they chilling with their homeboys and their girlfriends.
But see, like to your point though, Willie, or to counter that, is we're not the only ones having children at a young age. Other people have up on us.
I'm just saying.
No, I get it. I just want to expound on that. That what our competitors have up on us is that most of them have knowledge of self. Most of them have knowledge of heritage. We have a large disconnect. I tell you this, somebody in my family, I'm talking about a person I really revere. I exposed to them how much I wanted to like visit Egypt or something like that. And it was like, oh, I don't have no connection to Africa. That's the difference. That's the vast difference. Because that person wasn't just speaking on their experience. That was a cry from the majority of us where we don't have a care about what happened in the 60s. If you ask anybody that's looting right now, if we did a poll and we said, do you care about what happened in the civil rights movement or what spurred the civil rights movement? We don't give a damn about what happened in the 60s and the 50s. I bet you that'll be 50% of the responses.
Oh.
We don't have that connection to knowledge of self. Even pre.
That's why I do believe what Josue's saying about the looting gonna blow over in the riding, because after they done hit all the Calvin Kleins and all the Balenciaga, the Louis stores, they gonna have all the clothes for the summer, and they gonna be like, all right, we straight. Like,
but see, that's when it's not genuine, in my opinion.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's why
I would say so. I'm actually gonna push back on that because I understand that from any other regular technical time that we've normally been in. But once again,
look at the camera, bro.
We're in.
Hey, Banks.
I've never.
First stop looking at the monitor,
bro.
Hold on.
Bring your camera up, man. We want to see your face.
Bro, he can't stop looking at CNN, bro.
Hey,
but
Banks. Bring your camera up like this, man. We want to see your face, man.
You see me now?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Sorry. I was trying to lean it against my damn controller. So
anyway,
I ain't gonna talk about Greg. Every time he's the host, we can't.
I know. I've heard you say that with Greg. So
y'all can't see me even still.
No, a black shadow, man. It seems like
Greg. Hey, Josue, Greg did say earlier when we had first tapped in, he was like, I might have to take heed to what Josh was talking about that light.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to invest in it. What about now?
But you
got
the light behind. You gotta have the light in front of you.
Hey, turn
the lighting has to be behind you, like not so behind the camera and not in front of the camera.
Can't y'all see me now?
No,
turn
around.
So
Ray, turn around. Let your face be towards the window so it can gleam in natural light.
I put the natural light right here.
No. Greg. turn, rotate to 6 o'clock.
Yeah, y'all can see me for one. I'm just
but just rotate to 6 o'clock.
There you go.
That lighting is so much better. So
that changed significantly.
When you have the light behind the camera and it shines
that's what we were talking.
It's better.
All right,
there you go.
Cool. That's a life hack. That's a life hack right there. Cool.
Yes.
There you go. So let the light shine on you, man. Let the light shine on you.
Let the light shine,
I'm illuminated now.
What I'm trying to say is that if this was under normal circumstances, yes, I can wholly agree with what you guys are saying. Like, this is gonna blow over eventually because just that's how people are. But there's two things that's going on, right? From an economic standpoint, people have lost their jobs. So they have no motivation. I mean, I'm not gonna say they have no motivation like that, but to the sense of they don't have anything that, okay, today I'm going to go to work, or you know what I'm saying, or today I got to go to school, or today I got to take the kids to school, because all those institutions are out of the way for most people, and that's going to go well into the summertime. And like I said, like even with the Baltimore riots or with Ferguson or whatever have you, I'm just going to go within the last 10 years. Those were all isolated municipal riots.
Yeah,
right.
In response to,
and we're talking about something. So where murder was on Monday, the video comes out Tuesday. Civil protest comes out on Wednesday, and now you've had, if you wanted to say to the degree of violence, in forms of like arson and all that, for 3 days so far.
But forget that. Let's talk about in the last 3 weeks. It's been a Ahmaud Arbery. Then it's been.
Right. Oh no, I'm not. Right. I'm not. We gonna get to that.
Yeah. I'm just saying for that to culminate and then explode.
Right.
It may last longer than just
exactly. And so what I'm saying is people don't have things to do, and all they see is well, you got people who got no jobs and they getting killed by the police. First of all, what are the police doing to even want to kill somebody? On top of that, if you look like in New York City, right? Considering from when the pandemic started, before the pandemic started to then, since then, they said the New York City police have made now up to this point. I'm not going to include this weekend, but almost like 60 arrests.
That's beautiful.
Until
60.
Yeah, in the city of 8 million.
That's like not arrested nobody.
Damn near, right? But even with that being said, 80%, almost 85% of those arrests were black.
Wow.
Now you can't tell me just off of that whole thing alone that there isn't some sense of insidious action going on, systemic insidious action going on through the police department.
And so these actions are in response to all of that in context.
All of these things are pent up. I mean, it's just you're not gonna. People are tired of being sick and tired. You just, and on top of that, if you have no job and you have no school and you have no motivation or goal of any other kind that can motion you forward in your mind to do other things, then you're going to resort to this because this is your only purpose at this moment.
People bored at this point.
No, they are bored. They are bored.
But that's what I'm saying, Banks.
Don't say they, because I will be.
But I'm
in action.
I'm saying not bored. But I'm saying people are also usually bored, but they also have other things they can do. They know that eventually.
Banks. That leads me to this. How about the fact that in absence of all this sports hysteria in absence of sports hysteria and championship hysteria, we reveal who America truly is. In the last month, all we've seen America do is kill innocent black people. In the absence of what they distract us with in this sports hysteria and giving us this sweethearting through, oh, you're our equal on the sports. In football and basketball, we don't see any color.
I can even minimize it. I can put it to a more microcosmic outlook. Just today, right? Just today, they literally panned off from the protest, and for almost 2.5 hours, it was strictly SpaceX into towards the ISS, where the first humans since 2011 are going to space from the United States.
And
right?
now all of the sports institutes are trying to scramble to get their stuff back. Let's get everybody back in sports.
Like, I mean, like at the end of the day, like.
Let us see America in its naked self, man.
Right, and I think that, like you said, because it's so naked, because of the fact that this pandemic is happening, it's a different atmosphere. It just is in my eyes. And I harken this time period to the era of 1919.
I will say, in history,
Willie, didn't I tell you he was gonna bring up 1919?
Look. But if I go back to think about stuff like in history, rather it be because even I learned about like the pandemics, and when they had the Spanish flu, they started playing baseball. They were just wearing masks. So sports has always got us through.
Yeah, but there also wasn't any sports for 2 years in World War II.
Hey, sports and music.
Sports and music has always been the go-to to get people to quiet down a little bit, right?
But you know what that tells me? They pacify us to not focus on reality.
Oh no, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's why I say it has got us through, and they allow that to happen. But now. That's why they such in let's get these guys sports back. Let's get people this, that, and the third, because if they get back to that, then they'll be so focused on the NBA Finals, they're going to forget about Aubrey.
They'll just tell us, shut up and dribble again.
I can't say that because I still can't forget about Trayvon Martin.
Hey, look, that's why in these times, bro, I wish, like, This Is America came out. Because I would love to talk about that music video on this podcast.
Talk about it. You can still talk about a reflection piece.
Bro, because, like, just in that video, man.
What video?
This Is America. Don't catch you slipping, though. Childish Gambino.
Hey.
He always has a lot of imagery and hidden messages in his videos.
Man, I would really love to talk about that. Like, I mean, the next time, because like, I mean, I want Willie and I want Banks, and y'all to like just go back to it and just watch it, man. It just shows us what us Black people go through, and what we have to do to distract ourselves from the pain that we actually go through. Like, it was crazy. Like that was a great video, man, for real.
But Josue, with that being said, how do you feel about the overall jigsaw puzzle? Because we know we're being distracted. We know that in all actuality, they'll give us some white folks that sweetheart with us, but in overall aspects, this is a Caucasian-dominated game. This life thing overall, internationally. You talk about America. America has infiltrated every landmass on the globe, but and has some sort of dominance to every person's on the globe in an evil way.
A great chunk of the South Pole as well.
But also, too, what I will say to that, just because there are more of them doesn't mean that they're the most dominant.
Well, I would say there's more of them in this country. I'm not going to say period.
It might not be listen, the spirit, we all spiritual people. Spirits live on past your your formal life, your
no
current life.
And no, that's why I said earlier, a couple podcasts ago, there's white culture and there's black culture.
But hey, I think episode 3 you also mentioned we should kill him with love.
No, we should. I still believe that. I
know you do. I know.
He wanna.
Because love fixes it all, man.
Yo, didn't you tell me that you had them in your crosshairs, right in the middle of their heads, with love, with a love shot? It was just right there, right in the middle of the head.
Hey, man. Hey, look. Love cures it all, man.
Look, you want to butcher them with love.
For us,
no, listen, man, listen. Because your enemy, if you love your enemy, love could change your enemy's heart, man.
Listen, every war these white folks ever fought was never cured with love. Every war they won was never cured with love. Everything we know was never cured with love. Even the God that we believe in, the Bible tells us, he sets a day for his enemy when he would destroy his enemy.
I understand that, but what I'm trying to say is, because a lot of people have given up.
There, God, I like that one.
A lot of people have given up, man. And what I'm saying is, that's why I said, I guarantee you, like, just because you have more people don't mean you're the most dominant. Give me 5,000, 10,000 people, and we pushing this love thing. I guarantee we can change the world.
Well, that's what you had in the late 60s, early 70s.
No chance.
You had the love boat.
Not with 10,000 people.
No, you had the hippies, right? You had the people protesting the war. You had the people protesting.
No, listen. Beans, what I'm saying is this. That will multiply. I'm not saying like just the whole time.
No, I get it. I know.
Yeah, those people will multiply. And then they'll multiply to 20,000 and then multiply to 50,000. What I'm saying
you know where you gonna run into? Bump in the road there. That shit gonna be swat right out the way when you realize the crowd that you trying to sway.
Wait a minute. Tell me of people who have successfully loved their open enemies. Tell me of people in history that loving their enemies has cured the hate of their enemies. The Native Americans, Americans approached the Anglo-Saxons with love.
Hey, look, hold on, no. I'll say this. Whether you feel like it was a win or not, if we didn't have Martin Luther King, man, we would not be where we are today.
Martin Luther King told us to love the white man?
He said, basically, kill him with love, yes.
No. See, that's the misconception.
No. Great.
He ain't say kill him with love.
No, he basically, that was the actions.
Let me tell you something about King. When King went to the mountaintop experience, he realized that I led my people into this love boat, which was a burning building. If you research final...
No. I know the quote now.
His final day, this is what he realized. That mountaintop experience was not just a literal mountaintop. It was an epiphany.
No, I understand. I know he said that he looked at it before it was his time. Like, man, brought my people into a burning building. Yeah.
I'll say this though, Josue. If we're gonna take your approach, we can't get there before we love ourselves.
No,
that's what has to happen.
I agree with that. And like, I mean, my thing is like, what I'm thinking about is just like, especially when it comes down to the youth, is to teach our men to like know themselves.
Yeah.
Not only that, teach our men to love our women.
Yeah.
And allow our women to see themselves as queens. Because, like, if you think about it, like, I don't know if you know that a woman that they shipped around all around the world, think she had the big booty of the African chick, right? That's what they're doing today. Like, that's a generational curse. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but guess what? It's perpetuated through so many institutes. It's perpetuated by us. It's perpetuated by the white man who pays you. It's perpetuated by the system that raised you. So everything that tells her that she's beautiful is perpetuating her showing herself. So I agree with you on that.
Look, and then also, not only that, Greg, it's like what I grew up on was like, man, basically it's a white man's world. The white man can hold you back and all this stuff like that. Even though our parents and our people were trying to be encouraging to us to be better, we got that in our mind where we imprisoned ourselves.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Okay.
Let's say we did approach you with this whole, and for the record, I believe I can conquer it all. I believe that the first step to conquering it all as a black man is knowledge of self. But I am aware of reality in America. I'm aware of the fact that there is something called redlining, that if you try to engage in small business ventures and you wanted an X, Y, and Z loan from this certain zip code, they can identify you on your race without asking you what your race is. I'm aware that our schools and our communities are far less populated with the resources than those of our neighboring communities. I'm aware that white folks that are our counterparts have family heirlooms that keep them rich and wealthy. I'm aware that these things are ever prevalent, but I still have that source of drive within me. I'm not telling us as a people to lose that drive, to lose that ambition. I'm just telling us as a people that going the way that they kind of paint it to be, oh, you can be our friend and succeed. I don't know, man. I don't think that's the way.
Hey, baby, I'm always gonna hit you with this because I really believe this, right? And I'm gonna go to and I'm gonna go the spiritual route. Everybody in this world has a purpose, right? Everybody has a purpose. Nothing. If you live your life right, being obedient to what God wants you to do, can nobody hold you back from that? So no racism can hold you back from that. Nothing. I don't care who you are. Because again, I would tell you this.
Hold up. First, is this a question? You saying this is to Banks or to me?
No, to you.
Okay.
Great.
So my rebut to that is everybody's greatness isn't the same. And that's
exactly. So what I'm saying is, like, for instance, everybody's not going to be rich, right? Everybody's not going to be rich. Everybody's not going to live a comfortable life. Everybody ain't going to be poor. What I'm saying is, if everybody would focus upon what they're here for and their purpose, they don't have to worry about racism. And when I say worry about racism, I'm talking about holding them back. Because if something holds you back, it was either God allowed or God ordained to happen.
But okay, so these are the things that hold us back. We sweetheart with the white man and allow him to continue to keep us as servants, as opposed to going and doing for ourselves as self-sufficient humans. And one of the ways they do that is through our deity. When you give us a picture of a white man and tell us that he is God, that tells us that as a black man, I can't be God. I can't achieve what this white man can achieve because this white man is God.
Nah, but see, I don't agree with that because I'm black and I see the same thing.
So you see your white Jesus and say, "Well, I am made in His image."
No,
with those blatant differences. No.
Like you say, people need to have knowledge, right? I see it as people just portray them that way. That's how I see it.
But it's not just people; it's the institution that we live in that portrays.
And I understand that, Greg, and I understand that. But what I'm saying is that ain't never gonna stop me from doing what I want to do.
But everybody don't have. But the mass majorities can't just say, I ain't doing it like that because that's the way the world painted it. But I don't think like that.
But
like
see, I agree with Josh. I agree with Josh. Everybody on this call should know that I'm a self-motivated guy. Like, ain't nobody gonna outwork me. You're not gonna focus more than me.
I didn't outwork you.
That's the type of guy I am. So we gonna lock in. You know what I'm saying? That's the only spirit that I know because we are workaholics as people. I know not to allow anybody to dampen our resiliency. And as Black people, we're created that way. We're wired that way. But the playing field we're on, the time period we're in, it can't just be, oh, you can go hunky-dory about your life. No, we got to unite with us. It can't be you have the opportunity to succeed as much as you want to by uniting with them as you will with us.
No. And when I say that, I'm not saying pick a side. I'm saying just be focused on what God got for you and just go upon that. Whichever route that takes you.
If you're operating in purpose, regardless of who likes you or who dislikes you, you're going to succeed.
Exactly.
I get that, but this is why I disagree. Because just like that is exactly what Dr. Martin Luther King was doing. He was operating in his purposes, but guess what? He was funded by a person who was white. The NAACP wasn't presidential. President wasn't a Black man.
No.
What's going on? What's breaking?
Hey, look.
They beating the hell out of these folks in Los Angeles, boy. They beating the hell. Oh my God! They just. Oh,
hey, look. Okay. So look.
They find candidates from point blank range.
Hey, so look, great. This is what I'm saying. Just because you operate in your purpose doesn't make you make bad decisions. So, like for instance, let's say that God never intended Martin Luther King to be within in the NAACP. Let's say he never intended it, and Martin Luther King felt like he had to do something, so he took that route. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't know for a fact. You don't know for a fact.
I would say this: most of our organizations during the civil rights were backed by white dollars. A lot of them, not most of them, a lot of them. But tell me this: if the powers that be see a threat in the the Garvey movement, the NOI movement, why is that? That should tell us something, right? If every time a fully Black movement was curated and was enacted, they worked day and night to overthrow it, to infiltrate it, that should tell us that obviously that's what they fear.
No, I'm gonna tell you what they feared, and I should have sent it in the group. It was over 30 years ago. I think Farrakhan was, I forgot what show he was on, and a white woman was saying like, hey, like why y'all gotta do stuff with violence and stuff like that, whatever, right? And he basically said, so what you're saying is white people are scared for us to all come together because they truly believe that we will do what they did to us, but worse. And that's why they do that.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The Garvey movement, he was telling us to be Pan-Africanists. He was saying we would never sacrifice a country for a continent. Then you have the NOI telling us to literally, we deserve, look at him, separate but equal land. We need a state for our own. If you're not going to allow, never in history has the master allowed the servant to eat at the same table. If you don't want us to eat at the same table, let us have our own table.
Great.
But hold on. Let me finish this. So you can understand that what you're saying is in addition to what I'm saying. Never did they allow one of those movements to flourish because they knew that if you rely on yourselves, you beat us. But when you rely on us, you need us. That's the game.
No, and I understand that, but I think it was more so of a fear thing too, right? At first, it was a fear thing in many facets. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
And so what I'm saying is, you got to put your mindset on the white man too. It's like, man, these people coming together saying this and that. Oh man, I'm about to cut this up.
I know exactly what they feel. The same thing they feel when you have a Malcolm rising to prominence. The same thing you feel when you have a Rock Nation coming to establishment. They gonna send those ABC boys action. They gonna send them action. They gonna try their best to infiltrate you. Because they know if we can sustain for ourselves, we no longer need them. And we have always been stronger than them. But what they did was, when you strip a person of their identity and they no longer know who they are, you can tell them who they are.
Okay, so let me ask you this, and I'm glad you said that. I'm about to take another route to this. Jay-Z and Dame Dash. What are your feelings on their two approaches? Cause Dame Dash be saying stuff that Jay-Z would never say. So what are your thoughts on Jay-Z and what are your thoughts on Dame Dash? I gotta hear what you're saying about this, because a lot of people will say one of the two are doing what you don't want to happen.
Yeah, somebody's a sellout. Somebody's a sellout.
I'm just saying.
I'll say this. I think that Jay always had a foundation of self-knowledge. Like, he knew who he was as a black man. I think he eventually took the approach you take in doing what it takes to advance us in the small victories. The small victories.
Okay.
I think what cripples Dame Dash is something that used to cripple me, and that's our emotion. We are emotional driven people. And, it's got to be totally thorough. It's got to be totally this way. It's got to be 100% this way. But that's where you need balance.
Right.
You need balance. So I couldn't say that Dame's way was worse than Jay's. I just think Dame needs to understand the game, not change what he's saying. He has to understand the game. And I think he understands the game, but he is similar to me in why play the game that way when we can be strong together and play it this way. And that's what really will hurt him. But what Jay is saying is, I could play it both ways and ultimately get to the ultimate goal.
Right.
So I agree. I think it's a complex situation. And also,
but Greg, you hear what you're saying? So would you do it the Jay way then?
I would do it. Listen, the thing that most people don't understand is that Jay has knowledge of self. He knows who he is as a black man. That way is the basis of all things we need as a community. So yes, I could never refute that. But I want any way of progression for us to be financed by us, to be empowered by us, and to be enacted by us. Because whoever controls your source controls you.
Oh. Okay, so let's so this right here. Oh man, hey, man, we cooking today. This is
we're cooking today. We're cooking today.
All right. So look, what do you feel about Jay-Z and the Colin Kaepernick situation? Because I want to hear this now. Let's go.
So when he said that it's time to move past kneeling, I feel like that was in accordance to what we spoke of earlier. It was time to move past protesting. Where's the action item? Banks is another guy that resembles this rhetoric because he believes the small incremental battles is what wins the war. He doesn't believe in just scrapping the whole game. I tell him all the time, forget politics, let's start it anew. Willie also echoes that. Let's just start anew for something that benefits us.
Wait, hold on. Before I like you speaking for me, brother.
No, I'm not speaking for you. I'm not speaking for you. I'm repeating what you said.
But actually, my main thing is a holistic approach. I believe from outflanking folks. So I believe not only should we do incrementally, but at the same time, while you're not looking at what we're doing incrementally, I do need a movement, a radical movement of street change.
But that's incremental. What me and Willie agree on is that why we constantly playing one move at a time. Forget that game. Let's start afresh. We got the knowledge. We got the resources. We got some of the resources. Let's go. And at times we can be seen as erratic because not all of our ducks are in a row as a community.
But
we don't have every last dot on every I and every T.
But my point is, if you're saying that, right? Well, how I think of it as is, I'm saying you're saying how at this point, instead of there being one game, there could be two games because we can create our own.
No, we want the game just to be played on our terms. We don't want to continue to play the game.
You want to sit at the table and we don't.
We want to say this game has historically demonstrated to us that it will never end in our favor, no matter how many.
But you have said, with that being said, why even play their game? We create our own game.
Right. Not play both. Play a different.
But I agree with playing both. I'm saying we create our own. And let me finish. And at the same time, we then begin to slowly and surely take over theirs. Therefore, we have both games. And the other one gets lost.
But the thing about their game, Banks, the thing about their game is it always ends in it being on their terms. You don't see their game ending with Russia on Russia's terms. You see the Cold War ending on, all right, I ain't going to shoot you, you ain't going to shoot me. But guess what? If you shoot me, I'm going to shoot you 10 times worse. That's why you saw the Cold War ending. The Cold War was the only time you saw America damn near get pumped.
Hey, but look. So when you say that game, right, Madam C.J. Walker played that game, and she came up.
She didn't quite play.
She was able to start her own.
She was a self-sufficient black woman playing our game.
But her own personal business lasted almost 50 years.
Yeah.
But she was a self-sufficient black woman. Yeah. That's not playing their game.
No. She kind of played their game a little bit.
How so?
Where did she play? Where would you say she played that game?
Like the people that are in power, she used certain people in power to be able to position herself.
She already had. Hold on a minute. She already had self-sufficiency before she engaged with Booker. Before she even engaged with Booker, who was a black man, although Booker's approach was
Please don't understand. Just because you're a black man don't mean that you're on the side.
I'm about to unveil Booker's approach. I love Booker because most people don't realize what Booker was trying to get. Booker was trying to get similar to what you talk about. He just wanted the emphasis to be on labor and the emphasis to be on books. But Booker also loved he also loved that white man's money. That white man's money did a lot of funding for Tuskegee in the uprooting of it and in the development of it. So in that sense, she was already self-sufficient. She just wasn't on mainstream. And that's what a lot of us run into. Like when we get to a place where we're self-sufficient, we want to be like the Gibson girl. Just like she talked about in her docuseries. The Gibson girl was the girl that everybody wanted. That was the white prototype. But we don't need that. Make the C.J. Walker girl. And make that boom. Look, anything Beyonce put out, Ivy Park. It's gone within seconds. Yeah. It's gone within seconds. Yeah. When we are self-sufficient and reliant on self, just like you say, they fear it. Because
does Beyonce ever speak out on stuff that's going on in the world?
She does, but she's an artist, so artists like to perform. So when she performs, she does a Super Bowl halftime show where she's dressed as a Black Panther woman.
Yeah, or she does Coachella as like an HBCU homecoming.
Right. Yeah. Or
she's an artist.
Or in her music videos, throwing those subliminals out there, saying, "Man, we're coming."
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I mean, but that's what I'm saying.
But then you also got Madonna, who uses her token black son to do a Michael Jackson imitation of they don't really care about us.
And that's why I said we cannot sweetheart with them anymore. We can't.
Okay. Hold on. Let's go back to what I was saying though. With a lot of people would say with the Jay-Z and Colin Kaepernick situation, was Jay-Z positioned himself there to be able to get Colin Kaepernick in. And so what I'm saying is, Greg, so I mean, you got to position yourself in the best place to be able to get your other people where they need to go. Jay-Z, if he would have never did what he did and broke away from Dame, it would be no Rock Nation.
But listen to what Jay-Z said. Listen to what Jay-Z said. Jay-Z said, he said, what did he say? He said, I got more money than Goodell. I got more money than Goodell. Did I do it one-handed like Odell? He said, I would have stayed on the sideline if they could have handled it themselves. What Jay-Z didn't do was allow the white man to buy him out. He just took what he could and kept on chugging for the black agenda. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Now, did it directly?
No, Greg, but you would say that, Greg, that's just say, Greg, I'll catch you up, Greg.
What did I say?
Greg, you would say, hey, and what you would say is, hey, just stay with us, blah, blah. Jay-Z ain't doing that. Jay-Z
I'm not saying, I've never said we shouldn't overthrow their government. That's not what, that would be perfect. But what I'm not going to say is this.
His lyrics were, I got more money than Goodell, a whole bunch of NFL bench, a whole NFL bench, did it one-handed like Odell, handcuffed to jail. I would have stayed on the sidelines if they could have tackled that shit themselves.
Exactly. He would not have involved himself if Kaepernick could have handled it himself. But that's neither here nor there. You want to address, did he sell out by still taking the deal?
Jay-Z is not a sellout.
I don't think he sold out. Sold out.
But you know a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah. I just think that he was smart with using both sides. That's what I'm saying. And that's all I'm saying.
I think anytime you're in that position, you scrutinize. Anytime you are still dealing with them and you're representing us, we gonna feel like.
And I think that goes to, and I think that might be the seat that Banks is talking about at the table, because Jay-Z is able to sit at the table.
Oh yeah, the token guy,
but still speak his own.
Hey,
language,
hold on, Greg. You being disrespectful, Greg.
He's a token.
You being disrespectful, Greg.
He earned his way. He earned his way to be the token guy, but he's the token guy. He earned his way.
Jay-Z is the
white men feel safe around people who make music for family or who have families that are royal. That's who white men feel safe around. If you have family that is of substance, they feel safe. If you got some money, we feel safe.
Banks, what are you doing, bro?
He's saying shut up for whatever reason.
No, I'm saying sell out.
Hey, nah, Banks, what I'm saying is
so you're a sellout because you want to sit at their table.
No.
Exactly.
No, it's not that I don't care to sit at the table. I get that. But when you're at that table, then you're there to make noise.
Yeah, but
I don't want to play their game. And I think,
Josue, that's different. That's different from what you talk about. Loving them and playing the game in order to get at the table is two different things.
I think my issue is with the history we have been provided. I'm tired of playing the same game. That's why I don't want to play that game no more. That's all I'm saying.
So look. I'm saying.
Hey, Willie. All I know is this. Sorry, Jose.
God dang, Banks, dog. You hear me talking?
Hold on. I was going to say this, Willie. You got a lot of politicking to do once you get back to Richmond. That's all I'm going to say.
And this is also I'm gonna ask you guys that question because I have to have a family conversation about because I want to speak. I got something I want to say, but it's got to be it got to be the right message. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't be spewed out as, oh, we just gonna do what we gotta do. Nah, because that's playing their cards. I ain't playing with their cards no more.
You really have a heart for the guys you recruiting that look like you.
Yeah, like I ain't with all that no more. I don't want to play. I'm tired. Like and that's why I'm so sick and tired of their game, bro. Because literally we've never won. Like we've been given a good hand and still have a chance to lose. Like that's not 50-50 odds, bro. We be playing with 70-30 odds a lot of the time. Almost 70, almost 75, 45,
55.
Yeah, like we going there.
This is why we never won, though.
Why?
Willie, this is why we never won. It's because
when you love
as soon as no, it has nothing to do with that. No, we haven't won. It's because we get distracted. You know what I'm saying? Like we'll be on the way, and then something will distract us.
Whoa, I don't agree with that.
No, well, let me know.
But go ahead, continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Let me finish first. Okay.
Sorry.
No, what I'm saying is this. I do feel this way. I believe that as a people, a lot of this stuff happens and we become distracted. And when I say that, it's like, okay, we doing the same stuff like what people said 50 years ago. And instead of what Greg is saying and focusing on loving ourselves and loving our people and doing all this stuff like that, we worry about what we've been fighting for years, which what they're doing to us.
But guess what? We gotta, okay, let's unravel this jigsaw. Because you can't talk about how much we love what they sell us without talking about who's selling it to us. Let's even talk about people who
will be selling it to us.
Exactly. Oh, even still, let's just go to the example of natural hair. I grew up in the house.
I don't want to talk about that.
No. We're here because it's going to unravel so much. Look, I grew up in the house of people who had to morph into embracing their natural hair because they were permanent. Why were black women permanent hairs? Why were they permanent hairs? Who did they want to look like? Who were they told as children were the beautiful barbs? The barbers that had straight hair.
Is what they had to look like.
Propaganda.
Why did they have to look like
bro?
Because they were told this was the mark of beauty.
No, Banks. They didn't have to look like that when those slave masters were in there raping them and banging them.
For 145 years.
But guess what? The American woman would still look like X, Y, and Z. Have straight hair, have such and such earrings, have such and such blouse, talk with such and such etiquette. We talk about the black man. Black man begins to pimp his own race.
That's honestly why I'm like, I want to cut my hair, but then I'm like, I really ain't in no rush. I want to stay at this state.
Yeah.
Like, because of, I want people to look at me and say, oh, that's what a black man looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like, and it brings a smile to my face when I go places and I see other people going through the struggle, as we would call it, if a person ain't had no cut, and they okay, like they're moving and nothing's wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Like people have like America. Yeah.
Go ahead.
America then painted this image that we have to look a certain way and do stuff a certain way. Like that was all just to sell and make money.
Bro.
Like that shit won't. Ain't nobody told us. Ain't no perfect image of nobody.
Bro, I asked people, who brought up these? Who made these rules?
I'm about to tell you how it happened.
Who made these rules?
Come on, brother prophet.
Propaganda by the white man during military times.
Come on, brother.
Watch this. In the text Up From Slavery by Booker T. Washington,
prophet.
He describes white man coming to the plantation and reading the Emancipation Proclamation, telling them that they were free. He said that was a brief moment of celebration. But immediately, they began to mourn for their masters. They made sure we had an affinity toward them, that we had a love for them so deep that we rejected freedom. We rejected being self-sufficient because we was wondering how is Master gonna live? How is little Bobby Joe gonna live? They cried, and some of them didn't even go free. Some of them stayed on Master's land.
Can I say this? There's 4 million slaves, 1863. A little bit over 4 million, about around 4.1. After the Emancipation,
and he was in Virginia, by the way.
After the Emancipation Proclamation, only 250,000 immediately left the plantation.
Oh, wow. Some of them went back. Some of them went back.
Right. In that first 6 months, only 250,000 out of 4 million, which is like what? That's
like 2%, damn near.
A little bit more than that, but 250 times 4 times.
Well, you
like
say 4 million.
It's like 1/16 of the population.
Hey, that right there sets up a question that I have to ask y'all. You know how like when people say that how like people say that black people are loyal, right? Do you think that we taught ourselves loyalty or the white man taught us loyalty?
We were engineered as spiritual and loyal people. Now, I'm not going to say we didn't have any evil in us, because I've learned through certain teachings that white man is a grafted being from the black man. And when you graft us all the way down to our worst selves, you get the evil that we see in the white man we know today. So, with that being said, we were always loyal, but that worst side of us can be what you see in the white man. That messy, conniving, stirring up drama, stirring up wars, dividing homes, killing, manslaughter type of person. I don't think the white man had to teach us how to be kind. We were born that way. What they had to teach us was how to hate ourselves. And thus, the reason we have so much black on black crime, if that's such a thing. Thus, the reason we have so many people selling crack or whatever drug to our own people. Thus, the reason we have so many people that turn around and instead of pimping white women, they pimp black women. I'm reading a book, Pimp by Iceberg Slim, and one of the greatest pimps in Chicago, Sweet Jones. Sweet Jones.
That book right there.
Bruh, I was telling Willie to read it. It paints vivid pictures.
Hey, my homeboy from CUNY Homes put me on that book.
CUNY Homes! Shout out to Third Ward, Houston, Texas, man.
No, he put me on that book. I was like, man, Iceberg Slim, we need to read this book.
Yo, he paints his pictures too vividly. But Sweet Jones only wanted to pimp on white women. Well, he pimped his white women harder than he would pimp his black women. And that was his way of getting back at his masters. He watched his mom get raped by a whole clan, and his dad had to sit there and watch. So not only did he watch, his dad had to sit there and watch. We got to think about those things, man.
Think about buck breaking.
He was the most cruel pimp, the biggest pimp, the most ruthless pimp. He was giving Iceberg Slim the game. And so when I think about what happened to us as a people, we didn't start out that way. We didn't start out this way of being hurtful and harmful to others. Of course, we had our differences amongst each other, but which family don't? Great Britain broke away from itself. Every family you can look at in history had a difference. But we was never the evil that you see in the white man today. So that loyalty factor is something that we always have possessed, if you ask me. I think we've always given loyalty to one another in a sense.
I think, and then you get it, and like Greg talking about, as you've been brought up and you have life experiences, a child in its natural state is the most loyal, honest person of all beings.
Yeah.
When you look at children.
Can't hear you, Willie. Can you hear him, Banks?
Trying to freeze up on me.
Both of them. It must be their Wi-Fi.
What about now? Can y'all got me?
Yeah, we can.
A little bit spotty, yeah.
I said, I think when you look at children based on time and the background, bro, like children are the most honest, loyal, free-spirited people of them all. Like it's when people learn behaviors and stuff and they start to grow up and do stuff, that's when it starts to get bad. It ain't because of nothing else. Like literally the ways of the world is what tear people apart.
And that's the word as we know it. The word as we know it. Josue, you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I got froze up.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yeah, I get
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I just think the ways of the world is what tear people apart, bro. And that comes from learning behaviors from shucks, the white man.
But and I hate to do it, but I end up saying where I get this from without saying who I got it from. So I've been taught that the white man, being the grafted person from the black man, was lost from his civilization. And so when he was cast out of the Holy Land, he came back without the civilization of the original people. And he came back with these barbaric ways and these heinous ways because he was lost from what is actually civilization from the original people. And you can see that so vividly in how white people go from nation to nation causing wars. The American white people are literally in almost every continent with an army base or a naval base or some sort of base. For what? What are you doing?
Banks would be able to answer that. What is the purpose and I always thought about that. Like, why can't we just protect our parameters? Like, what is the purpose?
I mean, it depends on philosophy.
So like my thing is like the best way to protect your home in my way of thinking is to be in my home and to know everything about my home. But if I'm everywhere except my home, how is that the best situation?
Well, it's two ways of thinking. So one is the isolationist view, what you're talking about in regards to we protect
it's a smaller area to attack.
Well, no, that too, but we protect our
Close
own.
the door.
We worry about ourselves only, and that's that. And you can. That's also the international relations message from Trump. Just throwing that out there. And there's the other approach of where instead of that, it's almost like a perpetual, omnipresent world order, where you can somewhat take control and assume the mantle of being the world's policeman and establishing an order in every region to where there's not going to be chaos to a certain degree or a conflict amongst countries that then become internationally detrimental to everybody. Both,
but that's what I'm saying.
From
like,
a capitalistic international relationship standpoint.
Like, but that's like, and then y'all look at it like, so.
And I would say this. For the most part in American history, you've actually been isolationists. So
that's because we was too busy in the first section taking land that wasn't ours.
Well, we didn't start taking land until the late 1890s.
No, I'm talking about when they arrived here.
Oh well, I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, we're talking about that, yeah. But if we were talking about when America was finally became America, like United States. It wasn't until the late 1890s when they started colonizing Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, the Philippines, and then some of the other South Pacific islands, and Cuba actually at that point in time. But
That was the rise of communism, huh?
No, that wasn't. That was the Spanish-American War.
I'm saying when they had the Cuban Missile Crisis and all of that.
Well, yeah, that was 60 years later. That was 60 plus years later. But the point I was trying to make is that if you looked at, I guess, more so European history, all the way up from the beginning of the Renaissance to about the turn of the 20th century, it was always, to a degree, a world war amongst all those international countries. I mean, amongst all those European countries on a world stage, because they had all these colonies elsewhere, and they would fight proxy wars, right? So, to a degree, it creates chaos amongst the world. Now, America always had the perception of saying, like, we're not in it, we're going to stay out of it. And even for the most part of World War I, they tried to do that. But once World War II came about, because of World War II, and then because of them not wanting to be interventionists, and letting the rise of Hitler and Mussolini and Japan and others come about, and then once not succumbing it, but overcoming it, they felt like, well, we want to make sure that this doesn't ever happen again.
Piers, get that ball.
And so from that standpoint, they created
our military was much stronger by World War II, though, in comparison to our counterparts.
Well, it still is today. I mean,
I'm saying that in comparisons to World War I, where we were military-wise, and what we could actually.
Well, so I would also say in World War I, had we came into the war in the first, had we came into the war in 1914, we still would have been deemed as, at that point in time, by split hair, and you can even say at number one, either the biggest
we had already beat a formidable.
Right, we would have been the biggest or second biggest military in the world.
Yeah.
And so, we chose to stay isolationist for that period of time, and then of course the Great Depression hits, and even further that, like, there's no need for us to be in it until we get struck by Pearl Harbor, and then
struck by Pearl Harbor.
You skip out
but hold on. Let me.
You skip out on when we stepped up. When we stepped in.
But what I was going to say is, what I was going to say is that up to that point, though, who they were more afraid of wasn't Germany, right?
The Japs.
The white politicians of that era, they weren't really afraid of Germany.
The
Japs. Who they were afraid of, there you go. Yes, the Japanese. Because they couldn't believe not only their naval superiority, but not only their aerial superiority, but just the way how they think as a people.
Mentally.
Exactly, mental fortitude. And so with that being said, they wanted to make sure that can never happen.
But even with that, to the conversation we had earlier, America didn't end that by sweethearting with Japan.
Well, no.
They found a way to dominate them nuclearly.
Yeah.
And literally do some inhumane things.
I'll say it like this. Think about this. You stop the Germans from finishing up their project of the nuclear bomb. You use that. You hear that they're doing it, so you use that to your advantage to then drop a nuclear bomb on someone else. I mean,
but you know what, man? That goes to show you how evil at the core the white man is. You did something that didn't only kill the people at the time; it affected generations to come.
To this day. There's still people that the United States are still medically covering, like
they can't even drink from certain water sources.
Great. Hold on. Great.
You can't be talking like that, man. You can't be just.
You heard what he said? Yeah, that was a scenario, right? That was hot fire.
What he say,
bro? Huh?
What?
No, man. It's like you just putting all white people in.
Yeah, that's
what saying it like all bro, man. You sound like when I was dating.
I didn't say that.
No. I said Greg. Oh. I said no. I mean, it sounded like when I was in a Houston, man, and I was dating a Muslim from the nation, dog, and man, we went. And them say I went to, I supported her and went to the mosque with her, dog, in Third Ward, dog, and the whole sermon was the white man was the devil, dog.
Hey, when the Bible describes the devil, I tell you what.
Hey, you can't be saying stuff like that, man.
Now, listen, I have a history. Like, I went to Lamar, man. At the end of the day, I have some relationships from then and before.
Lamar is mixed, bro.
Oh, Lamar is smack dead in the middle of the richest neighborhood in Houston.
Yeah, it's mixed.
So
you got white people and black people.
I had classmates who were driving to school in Bentleys and were inheriting generational wealth. Right. But what I'm saying is, I understand the difference between the two. But I also understand that
they get an active.
If they needed to, this is what they can revert to. If we needed to, what we revert to is and they paint this as in a negative picture, but it's only a response to the oppression we've received. We can return to the children of Malcolm, or in layman's terms, the Panther Party. We can revolt, but we've never been the aggressors. Never have we once been the aggressors. It's not in our nature. We've
been on the defensive. We've been on the defense.
And look, I was a linebacker. I'm a defensive player by heart. So I know all about being defensive. I've never been the type to be an aggressor. I'm just saying what it is, man. These people have never demonstrated to, especially to us.
Boy,
look what they did look what they did to the Japanese.
Yeah, I know. Hey, look, I would love to see Greg in the 1970s, bro. Nah, this boy gonna be Hey, this boy said the white man is the devil. The white man don't care nothing about you.
Hey, if you unravel that thing, man, we all realize. What the offensive lineman used to say back at Morgan? We all we got, we all we need. That's all we got, man.
Bro,
all
this
we
boy
got.
Gravy. This boy be crazy. Hey, look, but what I'm saying is, like I said a long time ago, even if they revert back, that's all they know. And what I'm saying is, but the majority of them don't know it, and it's not intentional. That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is,
are you giving them a pass?
Huh?
He said they don't know it. I disagree on that.
Do you think that who don't know though? Who are you saying don't know?
White
folks.
So
I said
no. I'm when I say who, I'm talking in terms of like what group of people don't know? Like how are they not knowledgeable of what is?
Just like when it comes to our people, right? We know, like, okay, so like, for instance, okay, I like the way you worded that, Willie, because like, just like with us saying the N-word, right? We know it's wrong, but it's in our culture, and we continue to say it. You know what I'm saying? Just like with them, it's the same.
Being racist is in their culture.
No. Hey, exactly.
So I can use that.
No, but what I said is they unconsciously have racist ways.
But we know. But they know though. You said that they don't know. That's all.
No. No, bro. Just because of the time, some of them don't know, man.
You saying the examples that they might be using, they might not think that it is that. But I think that definitely know. I think that,
bro, look. Look, because they want to be so far from it. I mean, the majority want to be so far from it that they don't see everything. That's all I'm saying.
Is Greg and Banks, y'all still up here?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't see them. No.
Yeah. So great. Just like I said, with the three types of white people, you know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm saying is, there's only one that's really egregious and out of line. What I'm saying, those other two, like, you have to understand where they're coming from.
But do those other two only feel comfortable around us because we haven't fully accepted who we are? Because let you come around black and proud, they'll get a little uncomfortable.
Hey, no, of course, because they're not used to that. Because they're not used to that. Bro, look.
But why should I tone down my black and proud?
Hold on. Oh, I got something. What's the difference between them being uncomfortable? The same way wherever, if you were ever in CUNY Home, if you were ever in Third Ward and you seen a white person walking around, just like everybody else got uncomfortable with that white person walking around. Like, what they doing here for?
I'll say this.
Nah, answer it great.
I can't speak on that. I was never in CUNY Homes. I just know where it is. I can speak on being in Hearn Clark. I can tell you that if a white man came in Glen Iris, that we would identify him, but I guarantee you he'd be more uncomfortable than we were.
I mean, of course, because you're in your area, but also it's like, you know what I'm saying, like when I was in Virginia, bro, every time in Calvert Square, right? In Calvert Square, I was the director at the Boys and Girls Club, and if anybody like wanted to come in and do what is it called, Banks? The dudes from the a college want to get them hours. What's it called?
Community service. Come on, like internship.
Yeah, wanting to get the community service. You know what I'm saying? Dog, they came here, bro. I had to protect them, dog, because they like, man, who's this dude over here? Man, what's up? What you in here in these parts? You know what I'm saying? Like,
but see, this is my thing. We would never make them uncomfortable for being their white selves.
No, that's true.
That's true. Like, we ain't gonna say, oh.
No, but also too. But in their eyes, like, do you want to be fearful or do you want to be like, I want to be comfortable?
I mean, are we ready to undress their fear for us? Because we can address that too.
Bro, and this is what I'm saying. The majority of the fear comes from the way that the black man is portrayed in the media.
But that's betrayed by them.
Yes. Like, again, that's the number ones. That's not the number twos and threes.
But to me, we shouldn't curate. We shouldn't curate our boldness because it makes them comfortable. That to me is not living.
Hey, no, I'm not saying that. Because, like, if anybody knows me, I don't change for nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
Look,
exactly.
I don't change for nobody. But what I'm saying is that's why through love and allowing people to understand our different cultures, it can be that.
The ones that sweetheart with us are as ostracized from their folks as you would be from yours. That sweethearting, I'm telling you, the sweethearting only gets us so far, man. Because once you get to that place you think you want to get, you realize, damn, we so far separated from the community that it's all for naught. And I don't want to keep us on here for 3 hours. We could make this 2 more episodes.
Okay.
We can shoot tomorrow. I've got nothing but time. We can shoot tomorrow.
Bro, how long have you been on here though?
I was telling one of our colleagues that most podcasts go for about 2.5 hours. I can't see the time for some reason. I don't know what the time is. But
bro, when we started at what time we start?
We started at a little past 5.
About 5:15. About 5:15.
I'm about to tell you right now. 4:54, I'm on y'all boys was the message. So about 5-ish we started.
Yeah.
7. We did a decent episode. I hope everybody enjoys, man. This is the crew. You can bank on us to be on here at least once a week. This is the group message. It's a message for the entire group, for the entire community. And we signing out, baby. 1, 2, 3.
5, 6.
7, 8, 9. Y'all already know the rest. Peace and love, baby. Peace and love.